Hello and welcome to Algebra 1, Unit 1-2, Lesson 5. Today's objective is scholars will investigate patterns of association in bivariate data. So you've learned about bivariate data before, but we're going to go a little bit further into it. So first, let's look at this situation. So a doctor is trying to find out whether there is a correlation between TV viewing and high body mass. She records the average daily viewing habits and takes body mass index measurements from 18 people. So you can see that data recorded here. One thing to keep in mind is this is one table. I sort of split it into two columns just so that you could get to it easier. So we're being asked to create a scatter plot of the doctor's results. So the first thing we do is label our axes. Our input is going to be TV hours. And we'll label that in a second. And our output is going to be BMI. So we're going to label these. So let's say every 2 will be 1 hour. So we'll start it with 0 here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, let me get back. Make sure you actually see where these are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to label that one 5 so you can tell where it is. It looks like the highest number I need to get to is a 7. BMI, I can see that the highest number I need to get to is 28.2. So I'm going to do a break in this because I also have my lowest number looks like it is 21.5, I lied. So I'm going to make this 21.5. And then I'm going to make, for every 3 of these, I can make this equal. This will be 22.5. 3 more. Be 23.5. 3 more. 24.5. 3 more. 25.5. Remember, I need to keep the same scale. 26.5, 27.5, 28.5. Once I've done that, I need to put a point for each one of these. So, first one I'm going to do is 122. So I'm going to come up here from 1 and go to about where 22 is. I'm going to put a dot. So 22, of course, is halfway in between those two. So pause the video and complete your scatter plot. Okay, so I completed my scatter plot. We're going to use this scatter plot to answer the questions on the next slide. Does there seem to be a linear relationship between the variables? So look at your graph. I think so. It does look like there's it looks like it's increasing. So yes. So draw a line of best fit on your scatter plot and estimate the equation for it. Okay, so we're going to come back to this in just a minute. Can you claim with certainty that increased television viewing causes higher BMI? So that's a very important question. So let's come down here and answer that. We cannot say it with certainty. That you notice that there is a correlation. We don't know what the cause is. So this is an important thing to make sure that we understand. When we see this data, all the data shows is that there seems to be some sort of connection. It doesn't tell us why the connection is there. We don't know what is causing what. All we know is that there seems to be some sort of link. We cannot prove causation. So we cannot prove causation. There could be something outside of these two causing both. Okay, does the graph have any outliers? Outliers are just points that don't look like they follow the pattern or are away from the other ones. You're going to name those, and then you're going to go ahead and give the coordinates of those. Okay, so your line of best fit is a line that represents the data. So you're going to do your best to draw a line. You draw an oval around all the points, and then you're going to draw a line through them from the top to the bottom of your oval. that can represent the data. And you're going to estimate the equation for it. You know how to find the equation using your rate of change and your y-intercept. Okay, so let's look at this next situation. A class wants to find out if there is a correlation between the number of hours studied and grades on the midterm exam. The 20 students log their hours and their grade as follows. So you're going to put this into your graphing calculator and take a screenshot of the resulting scatter plot and line of best fit. There should be a separate video that shows you how to do this in Desmos. So make sure that you watch that video and get that information. So again, we've got questions on it. So does there seem to be a linear relationship between the variables? Estimate the equation. Again, the calculator is going to give it to you. Name the outliers. Give the equation a best fit. Is there a correlation? That's where you tell me, does there look like there's a link? And is there a causative relationship? Again, you're just going to explain that. So now let's look at Anastasia. So Anastasia earns high scores on her vocabulary quizzes because she studies a lot. Anastasia's teacher made a list of the most recent quiz scores of 30 of her students. Then she asked each student how many minutes he or she studied for the quiz. She made a scatter plot with the data. What do you think the scatter plot might have shown? So what we're looking at is the teacher made a scatter plot. We know that Anastasia earns high scores because she studies a lot. Do you think the scatter plot is going to show that studying more gives you a higher score? Explain why you think so. Next, we're looking at this scatter plot. What type of relationship do you see between the two sets of data? So remember here, the only options for types of relationship is positive correlation. That means that it is a linear correlation. We draw a line to represent it, and it moves in a positive direction. Our positive is up from left to right, or you can choose negative correlation. You can say that there is no correlation or no relationship. Or sometimes you might see a non-linear correlation. So you need to figure out which one of these and explain why. Our correlation is just their relationship. Okay. Again, scatter plot shows the relationship between two different ratings for blogs. It shows the number of blogs were rated in each system. How would you describe this relationship? Again, you're using positive correlation, negative correlation, no correlation, or nonlinear correlation. Which of the following statements describes a relationship shown in the scatter plot? Highlight your best answer. Okay, so you're going to choose which one. And then we're going to use this scatter plot to make estimates. We're doing that by putting the point where we think it would be on the scatter plot and then finding the answer for these. So make sure that you do that. Again, what relationship do you see? Are you surprised? So in this case, we're looking at the x-axis is number of dollars each man spent at the mall. Y-axis is number of emails each man sent. And which of these scatter plots shows a negative correlation? So you're going to choose any of these that show a negative correlation. And finally, this scatter plot shows the age and height of a sample of individuals. If you added a mark for a 25-year-old who is 76 centimeters tall, would that fit the relationship? What relationship does the scatter plot show? Explain. Remember, your only choices for relationship: positive correlation, negative correlation, no correlation, or nonlinear correlation. So go ahead and make sure that you complete this and then do your work in your book, and I will see you in class.